you've mentioned, I thought it was really interesting, the incentivizing point, and it's almost the retraining of the consumer who's been used to, order in bulk and return in bulk. Are there any other things like that retailers could be doing beyond incentivization that might work?
Well, I think, and you mentioned some companies now, changing their policies. I think you have to be very careful as to how quickly you do that, right? I think there is a couple of things. One is, a simple one is, we sit with brands and we ask them, hey, have you analyzed actually your return data? And oftentimes the answer is no. And you might have 1% of your total consumer base that is an abusive, segment of your actual, and might represent, maybe 40% of your total returns. So you might want to do something with these consumers as opposed to saying, well, now we're going to charge everybody for this, right? So I think there is some of the analytics of the data, I think, is critical. That is an example, but another example that we see also is the gentleman from Snap was talking about this, right? He was saying like sizing and sizing and fit is always a problem. Well, what you find is oftentimes when you start to look at the data and the amount of returns, you will find some outliers. You will find some products that might have like wrong size or do not show the fit, or maybe they took a model that looked too good, right? And so then when you try it, then it doesn't look the same. And so identifying that also is something very important. So I think you can do that. Of course, there is technologies for fitting that can help. But then I think one key aspect is really to look at analyzing what is the reasons why you have so much returns, and then look at your business and your realities, because some of the brands, for example, that made the announcement that they will change their policies, when you go into the detail of that, well, they didn't really change the policies. They actually said, well, if you return it and you ship it back, you're going to pay. But if you bring back to store, by the way, we increase foot traffic through that, then we don't charge you. Right? And so you really have to understand really what is the dynamic there. And if you don't have a store network that is strong enough, if you were trying to do that the same way, it's not going to work. Or you're going to have an experience that has a lot of friction. And so you might have a churn and you might have an impact on how competitive your business is.